How's it going, everybody? My name is Sinikle, and welcome back to some more Saya no Uta, or the Song of Saya. Sorry for the very long hiatus. If you have not seen my YouTube post, which I just made literally just a while ago, I've been on hiatus for quite some time due to a couple of factors. One being my computer is slowly dying, so I had to focus on getting new parts and upgrading and whatnot. I just mainly need to do the GPU, and I don't know about the CPU yet, but we'll get there. We'll see. I think I only need to do the GPU to get things rolling again on videos mainly. But yeah, we'll see. That's one factor. Another factor is I've been getting sick a lot lately, and no progress on that, but I'll try to keep things rolling if I can. But yeah, I apologize. This wasn't really a full-time thing for me. I tried to do that, but yeah, some things in life just prevent you from doing things that you like to do, which is making videos on YouTube, and yeah. So I apologize for the hiatus, but I'll be back. I am back with this video here. There should be one video remaining in this story after this video here, so the next video in this game here will be the finale, the real finale anyways, and we'll start with something new. I don't know what yet, but I want to do something a little bit more not visual novel. I've been doing a lot of visual novels lately, and I want to try and get out of that habit. I want to try doing actual games. I'm not saying visual novels are not games, but they're more story heavy, and I want to play a little pew pew, you know what I mean? a little pew pew. Anyways, yeah. So we'll try. We'll find something fun to play with. I might suggest a few things in a poll. So look forward to that after the series is done. But yeah, look forward to that and vote properly. All right. And yeah, so let's see what this video has in store for us. Let's begin. All right. So I think we should choose Ryoko here. Let's do it. The ringing of her cell phone interrupts Ryoko's labors. When she sees that the caller is Tonokoji, she unwittingly breathes a sigh of relief. This is Tambo. What is it? I've searched Fuminori's house. Even over the phone, Ryoko can hear the change in Koji's tone. This is the dull, flat voice of someone who has had all the energy beaten out of him. Fuminori has murdered people. He's killed too many people to count, and he's eating them. Well, he's not alone, but yeah, basically. His first steps into Ryoko's world have already brought him face to face with something particularly gruesome. In consideration of his probable state of mind, she decides to say nothing. Omi is dead. Koji continues. Tsukaba too, probably. Doctor, I was wrong. The fact that you're still alive to make this call means you haven't made a fatal mistake yet. Ryoko says, praising Koji in her own way. Whether he is comforted or not is up to him. Anyway, don't screw up this time. Do nothing until I return. What we are dealing with here isn't going down easy. With her understanding of Saya deepening by the hour, Ryoko is able to make this declaration with new confidence. Fuminori already knows I'm alive. I didn't tell him who rescued me, but he's definitely on guard. I see. Koji's actions were rash, but there's no point regretting them now. The more proactive approach would be to use this pressure that he's placed on Fuminori. Ryoko's involvement is still a secret. That makes her a wild card. Depending on how she plays it, this advantage could be decisive. Have you found anything? Not enough yet, Ryoko answers, glancing sidelong at the loose-leaf pages still scattered across the table. Let's see. I'll wrap this up by evening and return to Tokyo around midnight. You stay out of trouble until then. Got it? Yes. The lack of emotion in Koji's voice is actually reassuring to Ryoko. He's a machine now, able to do whatever it takes to accomplish a single goal, the extermination of Sakisaka Fuminori. He is even willing to accept help from Ryoko, whose principles hardly mesh with his. A praiseworthy change indeed. If I remember correctly, space hides it? Yes, it does. Not a good-looking thumbnail, but one if necessary, if nothing else pops up later on. Okay. After Ryoko hangs up, she gloomily counts the stacks of loose leaf that still needs to be restored. There's no time left. She will only be able to get the general picture. If she has to go into battle with only fragmentary knowledge, then there's one thing that she absolutely must decipher. Ogwai's biological reports, which should contain information on the strengths and weaknesses of the organism called Saya. All she can do now is pray for luck as she dives back into the mountains of paper. Interesting. Oh, we're back to this. Great. Ready then? Today was the first time I've driven since my accident last summer. The proposition was always too dangerous to consider given my inability to recognize roads and cars. Things have changed, however, in the 3 months I've had to adapt to my condition. I know what cars and pedestrians look like now, and even though I can't exactly see colors, I've learned to decipher lights and turn signals. I still can't read street signs, of course. Nevertheless, I managed to make it safely to our destination with Saya and Yo in the back seat. It was Saya who came up with the idea for our new hideout. An abandoned building she'd discovered while while living with Dr. Ogwai. Okay. In these hilly suburban residential areas, it's not hard to find thick patches of undeveloped forest just off the beaten path. Saya's old playground is located in one such secluded area, unaffected by the flow of everyday life. It used to be a privately operated sanatorium, hidden among the silent trees. After the owners went bankrupt, it remained unsold and was eventually forgotten. After I left Saya and Yo at the hideout, I returned to town to make some preparations. Now I'm finally back to our new refuge. I liked this ruin from the moment I saw it. Mountains of construction materials and garbage litter the front yard, forming a serviceable barricade. This place looks even less likely to receive unwanted attention than our house. Since my brain sees humans as revolting monsters, places they have been tend to stink or seem covered in filthy slime. Ruins like these, long empty of life, are the places I find the most restful.
Tadaima.
I'm back. I call out to let them know I'm not a stranger. Then I go down to the basement where they are hiding. Welcome back. Were you okay with the car? It was no problem at all. I figured out how to tell which roads are one way. As long as I keep my speed down, there's nothing to worry about. So, how are things here? I took a look around, as I thought there's no sign that anyone's been here since I found this place. It's safe. I see. Let's hope it stays that way. It's winter, sorry. I tend to get a little sick. I'm a little worried that this abandoned building could become a hangout for biker gangs or homeless people. It's probably because of all the trash piled up front. Most people won't get anywhere near that, don't you think? I mean, it won't stop the homeless, but I mean, again, if there's no signs of life, then I guess they're steering clear, aren't they? I guess. It doesn't bother me at all. I rather like it, in fact. But of course, normal people would feel differently. So how was your shopping? Did you find something good? I sure did. Oh shit. I proudly unwrapped the weapon I just bought from a camping goods store. A 1 meter long wood axe. The biggest and sturdiest I could find. Well, look at this. Thumbnail material. Okay. That looks gruesome. Yeah. I like how this was right next to the sign saying that long knives are illegal. Seems like you could do way more damage with one of these. I grip the axe with both hands, testing its dependable weight, then swing it like a baseball bat. The deadly steel blade sweeps through the air right where a person's neck would be. Yo, who's sprawled out on the floor, flinches at the sound and curls herself into a ball. How sharp is it? Want to test it on Yo? I don't think that's a good idea. I definitely wasn't expecting Saya to suggest anything so brutal. You don't need to worry. Her new body can heal pretty easily from cuts and such. That's not really the problem, but I guess he's gone already too far, so I guess I don't know why he's I don't know why he's showing this kind of emotion to, you know, not wanting to hurt her when he's already gone as far as R-wording her and breaking her will, and I don't know, it's weird. But I'm sure it will hurt. Bro, like, not even bro, but dude, you don't give a fuck. You've done way worse to her so far already, okay? Well, not way, you know what I mean. It's so weird. Why is he showing this type of concern that it will hurt when he's done some pretty fucked up things? Fucking stupid. Alright. Oh yeah, I guess you're right. It must have slipped her mind completely. She smiles at the oblivious Yo as if to hide her embarrassment, then says, but her screams are pretty adorable, don't you think? Okay. Okay. Well, I just wouldn't feel right using an axe on a human. So he has done... oh my god, so he still considers her a human, and yet he's done all that crap. Jesus fucking Christ, he is fucked up in the fucking head. I mean, we already know that, but still. Fucking god, please. Really? Then what about Koji? That's easy. It should be obvious, but I guess that Saya still doesn't understand. I don't see him as human. I'll have no trouble cutting him to pieces. Oh. Okay, seeing them as human means like he actually sees them. Okay. Alright, I see it. So being able to not see them but see them as monsters helps him alienate the idea of harming. But he sexually abused Yo, though. Doesn't consider her human, but just basically said I wouldn't hurt a human. See, it's very contradictory. I don't know. It's all over the place. It really is. That really makes a difference. Yeah. Humans have a conscience, you see. No matter how much you hate someone, you can't help but think twice about killing them. And that's how I'll win. Really? Saya seems awfully subdued. I guess she's concerned about what will happen when I have it out with Koji. He's bigger and stronger, so I might not have much chance against him in a straight-up fight. But what's just slaying a monster to me is murder to him. This is big. He will definitely hesitate when it counts. I'm a little worried, Saya says softly, staring at the floor with unusual gravity. You can never be sure how someone will react. It's dangerous to rely on that. She raises her head and looks straight at me. Don't you think it'll be better if I hunt him? I appreciate Saya's consideration, even though it could be interpreted as a lack of faith in me. She's still putting my safety above hers. Nevertheless, I can't accept her heartfelt suggestion. With your strength, you might be able to overpower a girl like Yo, but I think it would be hard for you to take down a guy. The bitter memory of Saya's rape is still... oh god. The bitter memory of Saya's R-word is still fresh in her mind. Saya falls silent for a moment, seeming to understand what I'm thinking, but then comes right back to stubbornly press her case. So stubborn. My first attack went fine, though. Most humans go limp as soon as they see me. It was the same at the hospital. You were the only one who could talk to me. I guess you have a point. I can't imagine it personally, but I suppose it's possible that Saya's appearance is shocking enough to make someone lose their nerve. Tazumi was able to gain the advantage because he had the same condition as me, which let him see Saya as a cute girl. Fear doesn't necessarily make people weaker, however. Depending on the situation, it can even send someone into a berserk rage and make them harder to put down. In other words, such a tactic would be the same sort of gamble that Saya's worried about. Alright, Saya, how about this? When I tell Saya the new plan that just popped into my head, her gloomy frown turns into a bright smile. That's perfect! You're so smart, Fuminori! Oh, stop. It's not exactly a great plan, but I guess the fact that it lessens the risk to me is enough to excite her. She's so easy to please. But that's part of what makes her so cute. So when's Koji coming? I don't know. He will call sooner or later, and then I'll lure him here and finish him. Koji will come. I know that he won't leave us alone. We could just keep running now that we have started, but I want to eliminate Koji as soon as possible. Therefore, when he contacts me, I intend to meet with him unless it's an obvious trap. We're finally going to get more human meat. Too bad it's just going to rot without a refrigerator. Why don't we use it as a trap for other animals? It could be bait for stray cats or crows. That's too dangerous. If an animal gets away with the meat, someone might find it and wonder where it came from. Good point. Humans are extremely dangerous, and their filthy, stinking bodies make me sick just by being nearby. Ironically, however, nothing tastes better than their meat. I truly regret having to abandon our well-stocked fridge. The forest around here is full of animals. I don't think we'll have any trouble finding food. We have 3 mouths to feed, are you sure? Leave it to me. I may not look it, but I'm a pretty good hunter. I'll be sure to keep us well fed. Okay. Looks like you're going to be the breadwinner of this family. Saya giggles happily at my praise. I find these childish qualities of hers adorable. I wonder how long we'll be able to relax this time. Because of the casual way she says it, I almost miss the emptiness of her, the emptiness to which her question leads. Yeah. Saya's right. This won't last forever. No matter how safe this hideout might seem, we will have to abandon it eventually. The slightest mistake could put our life together in jeopardy, just like when I failed to silence Koji. Some dumb kids might decide that this old ruin is a good place to test their courage. But this land might be targeted for new development. In order to be together with Saya, I have chosen to live apart from society. We will forever find a lasting peace in this world teeming with humans, not unless we can somehow escape from it. Think of it like going on a journey, just the 2 of us. I pull Saya into my arms and fold my hands around her slender shoulders, then whisper, life is like a journey anyway. Nothing stays the same forever. The only difference is whether time passes you by or sweeps you up in its flow. I guess you're right. Saya smiles softly. Perhaps in resignation, perhaps in sadness. Either way, there is peace and contentment in her expression. But we will be together, so I'm not lonely. You're not lonely either, are you? No. I have no regrets. As long as I can hold Saya in my arms, I will gladly pay any price. And besides, she adds brightly, trying to cheer me up, one day we won't have to hide anymore. I can promise you that. Oh my gosh, she's gonna take over the world. It sounds like a fairy tale, but for some reason she seems absolutely certain. That day might be tomorrow, or it might be far off in the future. It's my first time, so even I don't know when the sign will come. I'm a little scared. I have no idea what Saya's prophetic words mean. But this isn't the first time she's said or done something mysterious. She's performed any number of miracles already. So there's hope for us too? Yeah, she says with a cheerful nod. It will be my last present to you, Fuminori. My first and final duty. What the fuck? You said duty. I'm sorry. That made my throat tickle. Ugh. Sorry for the cough. The hands of his watch move with agonizing slowness, as though counting down to the end of the world. In the hours since contacting Ryoko, Koji went back to his apartment, showered, changed clothes, and even had his first full meal in days. Damn. He wanted to take a nap, knowing that he needed to rest, but no matter how hard he tried, sleep never came. Forcing himself to relax only made his nerves colder and sharper. With nothing else to do, he decides to wander the city until nightfall. Downtown Tokyo is bustling, surrounded by smiling pedestrians, bright lights, and windows decorated early for Christmas. Ooh, Christmas. He feels as if all of the happiness in the world has been gathered in this very place. Koji takes it all in, burning it into his memory like it's the last thing he'll ever see. In the world so beautiful because of the horror. Oh. Almost made the slip up. Don't want to do that. Is the world so beautiful because of the horrors? Horrors. There we go. Gotta try emphasize the 3 R's in there. That lurk in the shadows. The glow of the city can no longer warm him. Perhaps that is why it seems so precious. Oh damn. Look at the nightlight. Woohoo! The city life at the night. Bustling. Damn. Anyways. Koji watches the city for hours and feels unreachably distant, like reading the obituary of someone you loved long ago. His phone rings at 8 p.m. It's Ryoko. Their conversation is short. It hangs up as soon as they decide where to meet. And so ends Tonokoji's final night of peace. Ooh. Okay. Ryoko arrives at the diner at 1 a.m. 1 hour later than agreed upon. She has a heavy-looking duffel bag under her arm. Koji doesn't feel like asking what the bulges represent. The bulges. Ooh. Kinky. But I don't know, man. I'm sorry. Sorry, I had a lot to get together. Ryoko doesn't sound at all apologetic, but Koji decides to just nod expressionlessly. Only a few tables are filled at this hour, like lonely islands in the mists of the vast restaurant. After sending the bleary-eyed waitress away with an order for 2 coffees, Koji and Ryoko are left all alone in the corner of the dining area. The corner seats. Good seats. Let's see, thumbnail material maybe? I got quite a few choices, don't I? Interesting. So did you find what you were looking for? Koji asks bluntly, while sipping dutifully from his 3rd cup of watery, tasteless coffee. 3rd cup, my boy, holy fuck. I'd like to think I didn't make you wait for nothing at least, though I'm still not sure of anything. I think Fuminori is under a lot of stress. I left him hanging for a day since I told him I'd call. Do you really think you have him on edge? Probably not, no. His reaction to the name Saya was very clear. In the silence that follows, Koji tries to soothe his parched throat with another mouthful of weak coffee. I see, Ryoko mutters. So it is Saya. It's obvious that her grimace isn't for the coffee. You know, don't you? Koji asks, his tone almost confrontational. You know what this Saya is? Ryoko tries to ignore Koji's question by nursing her coffee, but that only works until the cup is empty. Staring at the brown stain at the bottom of her cup, Ryoko says, her voice hard and flat. You were foolish enough to ignore my warning once. But I'm just as stubborn as you, so I'm going to say this one more time. Go home, Tono, and forget everything that's happened. You really are stubborn, Koji replies, smiling bitterly, instead of glaring at her like he did before. Are you saying that I still haven't crossed the line separating me from you and Fuminori? You still haven't seen the most damning part of all of this. As far as you're concerned, Ryoko continues with a despairing smirk, your best friend is the whole world suddenly went crazy and became a cannibal. Damn, blunt. Okay, well. She's exactly not holding back here. That's all this thing is to you, isn't it? I mean, yeah. That's all? The things that Fuminori has done are so horrifying that Koji's only recourse, his only hope for coping, is to kill the man who was once his friend. Yet despite that, Ryoko makes this nightmare sound like just the beginning. Koji still doesn't understand where his morbid cynicism comes from. Nor does he want to. You say there's something more, but aren't you just imagining it? See, that's how I know your wounds are still shallow. Her brusque tone says that she doesn't care whether or not Koji is satisfied with her explanation. If you back out now, they will probably heal given time. You haven't crossed the final line yet. The final line. Okay, I'm done. Koji considers Ryoko's words calmly, without letting himself get emotional like before. The final line. True. Fuminori is somewhere beyond that. Although Koji has gone far enough to be willing to kill Fuminori, he has no intention of eating his enemy's flesh once he's dead. That, at least, still separates the two. Then what about Ryoko, who has treated Koji like an ignorant fool ever since she saved him from the well? How close is she to Fuminori? You are saying your wounds are deeper than mine. In response to Koji's biting question, Ryoko's mocking smile turns inward. This gun was my father's, you know. Ryoko pats one of her duffel bag's bulges. There's a joke in there. I hope you find it. His hunting club kicked him, out when it disappeared from his locker. I feel bad about that. My parents were always proud of me. They probably never even suspected that I was the one who took it. So you had a good reason for taking it. No, not at all. Her quick denial isn't what Koji was expecting. At the time, the Ogwai mess had already ended. At least, that's what I thought. He'd vanished without a trace, and I was sure I'd never see him again. I didn't steal this gun because I needed to shoot someone. Then why? Because I couldn't sleep, that's all. Ryoko pauses, perhaps needing time to decide how best to explain further. Until then, she continues, choosing her words carefully, I was sleeping with a machete next to my bed. I couldn't stand being alone at night, you see. I needed to know that no matter what horrors the world might hold, I still had some power against the madness. I needed a weapon I could count on. Koji doesn't know what to say. He's amazed, impressed even, as someone with such a serious case of delusional paranoia could function as one of T University's top doctors. It didn't work though. My nightmares kept on getting worse. The machete just wasn't enough to let me sleep peacefully. That's when I stole my father's gun. By cutting the barrel down like this, the shot spreads over a wider area and causes more damage. I hear that even in America, carrying a sawed-off shotgun is a crime. Oh boy. But with this gun sitting in the back of my closet, I was finally able to sleep. One night out of 3, that is. I'm sorry, but this photo. Look at her expression in her hand. You carrying an invisible gun there, lady, huh? Look at my gun, man. Look at my gun. Look at my cock. What? At this point, Ryoko seems to have gotten everything off of her chest, smiling like someone who just finished a hard job. It's certainly a hard something. What? I'm sorry. She adds, a gun's a great thing to have, you know. It really is. You can use it to blow your enemies away. And if that doesn't work, you can always stick it in your mouth and pull the trigger. What the fuck did I just read? Jesus Christ. Doctor, you need help. Thank for the honest opinion. You won't be able to talk like that for much longer, though. Not if you go any further. Koji is already doubtful that meeting with Ryoko was the right thing to do. The one thing that he and Ryoko have in common is an unwillingness to leave Fuminori to the proper authorities. Fuminori not only killed Koji's lover and friend, but even went so far as to defile their corpses. And he certainly defiled them by putting them in his stomach. That's gruesome. Koji isn't about to give him the chance to get off on an insanity plea. But he is insane! He's insane! No matter what crimes he must commit, Koji will end Fuminori with his own 2 hands. If he doesn't, he knows that he will never sleep again. It helps to have a partner in crime, but only when the partner doesn't cause trouble. Reiko talks big about exposing Ogwai's secrets, but she might just have a head full of delusions. If so, Koji needs to rethink this whole thing. If you are telling me to leave this to you, Koji says with an unflappable determination. Flappy flap. Then please give me some reason to trust you. Prove to me there's a reason for you to be so obsessed with Ogwai. Show me what he did. So you are determined to go all the way. Oh well. Ryoko smirks and shakes her head ruefully, but puts up no further resistance. She pulls a stack of paper from her bag and hands it to Koji. The loose-leaf sheets are bound with string. After you read one line, it continues on the same line on the next page. Anyway, just skim it. As directed, Koji looks through the handwritten pages and gives up after less than 3 minutes. Is this a draft of a horror novel or something? I didn't think Ogwai had such childish hobbies. Koji deliberately scoffs at the document, doing everything he can to show contempt for what he just read. At the same time, he tries desperately not to remember the mountain of bones in Ogwai's bathtub and the unidentifiable smell permeating Fuminori's house. The specimens that Ogwai brought to the hospital 1 year ago were just as unbelievable, Ryoko says, coldly ignoring Koji's disdain. Huh. Apparently, he continued his research in secret, using our supplies without permission. Oh shit. Serious business. But he made a mistake and was discovered. That's when things got crazy. Judging by the equipment he was trying to use, he meant to treat his experiment as a P3 level biohazard. To be honest, even that might not have been sufficient for what he was dealing with. We should have evacuated with the nearby civilians, but the big shots did their thing and made the whole mess disappear. Disappear how? In exchange, we were left with a task of exterminating every single rat on campus, including the things that used to be rats. Ooh. Huh. At the first meeting, Ryoko brushed Koji off when he asked about Ogwai Masahiko? Yeah, there we go. Now, however, she's telling the whole story. Her voice as flat and emotionless as a machine's. In the end, everyone gave up trying to explain what had happened. No one could figure out where his materials had come from, or what they were. In retrospect, they did the wise thing. They knew how to keep the line between reality and fantasy where it should be. I, unfortunately, was not too wise. Back to this. Ryoko pauses for a moment, then grins with self-disdain, so maniacal that it strikes Koji like a blow. I searched everywhere for Ogwai, flushed him out, and finally learned what he'd been doing. I found the people he'd been dealing with, and who'd encouraged him to perform his experiments. That's when I started sleeping with Machete. I'd learned just how absurd, how hollow, how worthless our precious reason is. As though fleeing from the quiet insanity that he keeps glimpsing in Ryoko, Koji finds himself paging through the loose leaf in his hands. He reads a line at random. The organism's flesh is not fibrous, but reticulated? There we go. But simply, it is an extremely tough substance that expands and contracts not in one direction, but in all directions. This means that slashing or piercing damage has very little effect. Since the flesh can contract in any direction freely, any wound will be sealed instantly. It's nonsense. What else can it be? If he lets himself believe it, then everything else, all the logical rules that define the world, will be rendered meaningless. Do you believe what's in this, Doctor? I lost any reason to doubt it a long time ago. Ryoko reaches into her duffel bag again, this time removing a stainless steel thermos that looks able to hold about 500 cc's of liquid. This is the secret weapon that will let us defeat Saya. It was a pain to get, but it should work like a charm. I can't take this anymore. Koji snaps, no longer able to disguise his frustration. I don't care what Saya is, all I care about is killing Fuminori. I can't leave this to you. I say. Now that she's given up on persuading him, her assent is swift and cold. At this moment, Koji's fate has likely seized, no matter to her. Alright then, you do everything you can to take Sakisaka down. I'll take advantage of the opening you create. I won't get in your way, and I'll even take care of the things when you screw up. Damn. Despite the determination in her voice, Koji can't bring himself to trust this paranoid doctor completely. Do you have a reason to kill Fuminori? I like things neat and tidy. I can't stand people like him who lurk outside the world. They are like cockroaches in your bedroom. Can you sleep with them scuttling underneath your pillows? The moment I find one, I kill it and stomp it out all the traces of its existence. I have to for the sake of my mental well-being. I know that feeling. If I see a fucking spider skitter across the walls or whatever, I have to fucking track that fucking thing down and kill it. Can't sleep otherwise. Exactly the same thing. The reasons are similar to Koji's own. He doesn't want to bring a murderer to justice, nor does he want revenge for Omi and Yo. If he did, he could have left everything to the police. The reason he can't is that the villain is Fuminori. The man he believed was his friend has turned his whole world upside down. Everything and everyone with a part in this madness is to blame, and that includes himself for allowing the betrayal. His self-loathing, his desire to destroy, is what's keeping him on his feet. Okay, let's move in for the checkmate. Go ahead and call Sakisaka out. Koji nods, pulls out his cell phone, and calls his friend for what will probably be the last time. The call goes through quickly. Fuminori must have been waiting for it. Sorry to keep you waiting, Fuminori. I finished my preparations. Koji, where are you? Fuminori must have been quite anxious to hear from Koji. His voice is hard and completely emotionless. Let's just say I'm right behind you. Koji can't help but smile at Fuminori's disappointment. Perhaps Ryoko's maniacal sadism has rubbed off on him. Well, have you decided to let Tsukaba go? Yeah, I suppose I have no choice. He's lying, Koji thinks, remembering the contents of Fuminori's refrigerator. Just what part of Yo did you eat, huh? Oh, this is in his head. Did you carve that poor girl up like a pig? Some would say it's a fate worse, actually. Bring your evidence along with all the files you've gathered. When I'm satisfied that they are the real thing, I'll hand you over. Fine. Where? First, come to Y Station on the O line. When I'm sure that you are alone, I'll tell you the exact location. You are being awfully careful. No tricks. You have 45 minutes. Fuminori hangs up without waiting for Koji's response. He won't tell me his location until he's sure I'm alone. Not bad for a medical, what the fuck did that come from? I have no idea. Not bad for a medical student, I'm impressed. Ryoko's praise sounds serious, drawing a glare from Koji. We will leave my car here. In your trunk, is your trunk big enough for me to fit inside? Yeah, but are you serious? You have seen too many movies. I mean, true. You do see that a lot in action films and whatnot. This adventure is more dangerous than anything you have seen in a movie. I kind of beg to differ. With those bold words, Ryoko grabs her duffel bag and rises from her seat. Weren't you the one who chose to meet here? Yeah, why? Take responsibility for the coffee, she says, and tosses him the check. Okay. Says the one that has a job, a doctor, and saying it to a young student. Okay. Alright. Well, I can see where all your money is going to, eh, doctor? Guns. Machetes. God damn it. What is it, cat? What is it? What must you be meowing at me for? I just fed you, mind you. Even after Koji arrives at Y Station as directed, Fuminori calls him and makes him change location. Okay, locations 3 more times. Oh my god! Fucking jump at me onto my desk. What the hell's wrong with you? Get. Oh my god, you're such a big boy. Get. Oh god. He's a fat boy. Fat cat. Koji is beginning to doubt that Fuminori is watching. He might just be using the time to guess when Koji arrives at each designated location. Nevertheless, Koji can't let his guard down. Fuminori might choose any moment to make sure that he's alone. If he makes a mistake and puts Fuminori on alert, Ryoko will lose her chance to take him by surprise. She will just have to put up with the cramped trunk for a little while longer. After the nature preserve and the dry riverbed, the fourth location to which Fuminori sends Koji is in the thick forest at the top of the foothills, high above the developed area at their base. His car's GPS shows a road that leads nowhere, but according to Fuminori, there should be an old abandoned sanatorium there. The park and river were empty this late at night, but during the day would likely have considerable traffic. This time, however, his instinct is telling him that it's definitely a place that no one could find, not even by accident. A lone, empty road. It looks like this is the final stop. Koji drives up the steep incline, soon leaving the residential neighborhood behind. Even though the hands of progress are right at its doorstep, the undeveloped forest is darker than he expected. This looks like a great place to live in secret, or to kill someone and hide the body. Places like this, lost and forgotten, aren't found only in deep jungles and hidden valleys. Holes in the world are everywhere, even in the mists of civilization. A broken down gate post suddenly appears in Koji's headlights, like a ghost rising from the darkness. It looks like this is the final stop. He rolls up to the gate and turns off the engine, giving himself to the silence of the forest. His phone starts ringing almost immediately. He doesn't need to check who it's from. I'm here. Yeah, I heard you. Welcome to my new home. Fuminori is nearby, close enough to hear the sound of the engine. A shiver of excitement shoots up Koji's spine. Come inside. I was waiting. Fuminori hangs up without another word. After grabbing his new flashlight from the glove compartment and checking that the revolver is still in his pocket, Koji opens the door, making sure to pop the trunk at exactly the same time. Ryoko shouldn't need any more explanation than that. Realizing that the interior roof light will stay on and broadcast that the trunk isn't closed, Koji quickly unscrews the bulb, then gets out of the car and deliberately slams the driver's side door hard. Small little signals. Nice. Mountains of trash litter the front yard, forming a serviceable barricade. Koji sees everything from the small refrigerators and mopeds to huge chunks of concrete and plaster that must have been abandoned by construction workers. The fact that they could get away with leaving all this stuff behind shows just how remote this place is. Glancing sidelong at the rear of his car, Koji sees no movement inside this barely open trunk. Ryoko knows what she's doing. She will probably wait until Fuminori's attention is focused on Koji before making her move. The moon is brighter than usual, allowing Koji to walk through the front yard without tripping on debris. Staying alert, he heads, for the building beyond the mountains of trash. Something must be buried underneath the piles of garbage, because the whole yard is filled with a sharp stink of chemicals. Even the homeless probably wouldn't come to this place. If you need to get out of the wind and rain, there are plenty of shelters more suitable. When he reaches the gaping, doorless entrance to the building, Koji glances back the way he came. His car, parked at the gate, is hidden behind the mountains of trash. Even if Fuminori is watching from inside the sanatorium, he shouldn't be able to see Ryoko crawl out of the trunk. It looks like she will get her chance to take him by surprise. How many times now has he stood like this, alone, in some ominously silent place far removed from his everyday life? Sneaking into deathly quiet houses, to find traces of unimaginable happenings has become as normal as going to class. The houses that he explored before were like freshly shed cicada shells, empty and dilapidated, but with traces of life they had sheltered. This place, however, is different. A perfect ruin, its walls and pillars rising from the dark forest like an army of ghosts, with no sign of all that people once lived and worked here. The structure resembles a skeleton more than a shell. Time and the elements have stripped it of its former shape, and now there is only death. Koji has gone as far as he can. This must be the final stop. What will Fuminori's next move be? He must be planning to kill Koji, but how? Just as he's about to turn on his flashlight, Koji reconsiders. If he wanders around with the light on, he will be broadcasting his exact location. Excuse me. That will give the advantage to Fuminori, who's probably lying in wait for him right now. He holds the light before him in his left hand with his finger poised on the switch. In his right hand, he raises the revolver, keeping it pointed in the same direction. Now ready to fire when he turns on the light, Koji steps quietly into the dark ruin. It takes a while for his eyes to adjust. But even when they do, he has only moonlight streaming through the empty windows to guide him. Everything appears gray and indistinct. However, Fuminori has to deal with the same exact conditions if he's hiding here. This is a battle of nerves, exhausting and deadly, where the first to make a sound and give away his position will lose. The rooms on both sides of the hallway are all open. Some are even missing their doors. Koji creeps up to each entrance, checks to make sure no one is inside, then carefully proceeds on. The stink that he noticed in the garden has changed. Now it smells more organic, like rotten meat. It's the exact same smell that filled Fuminori's house. The organism's flesh freely expands in a manner that renders piercing damage meaningless. I don't know why it's repeating the same word a couple times there, but you get the drill, right? You get the drill. Koji grits his teeth and forces the madman's words out of his head. What good can come of taking them seriously? This isn't the time for such useless. Oh. Koji freezes and stares down the hall. It was a wet sound that he heard just now, like someone dragging their feet through a swamp. It came from the room at the end of the hall. Something is there. Something alive. Koji creeps toward the sound, his light and gun at the ready. Now it sounds like someone squeezing mud through their fingers. As he gets closer, Koji begins to hear breathing. Could it be Fuminori? No, that's impossible. You should be waiting for a chance to ambush Koji, not making careless noise. As he proceeds, the strange sound coming through the cracks in the concrete walls grows clearer. Oh. So, this will probably be Yo, right? But of course, it's not gonna look familiar to him. Koji will not recognize her. Before he knows it, he is standing on the threshold. The room is filled with a thick, viscous darkness, just like every other room that he's passed. There is more than just darkness, however. Something is there. You can hear pained breathing, like that of a wounded animal, and what sounds like sobbing. Yeah, here we go. It's Yo. Sobbing. Who's there? Koji whispers into the darkness. Now that he's given away his position, he might as well turn on his light. For some reason, however, Koji feels that to do so would have disastrous consequences. Did the game freeze? Nope, okay. I just needed to click again, alright. The last time I heard her voice on the phone, she was sobbing. The wheezing suddenly stops. And then... Huh. A whisper comes out of the darkness, though not a human voice. Not by any measure. It speaks some blasphemous semblance of a human words. A nightmarish flash of insight connects the dots in Koji's mind. It can't be. Yo doesn't sound like this. She doesn't smell like this. Wait. I thought she didn't have memories of... Unless this is a fake. This is probably not the real Yo, right? I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out. But if it's not Yo, then how does it know its name? His name? Why is it begging for him to help? No, it can't be Yo. She's human, not some creature that slithers and hides in the shadows. Huh. The thing wriggles closer. His reason cries out, imploring him to switch the light on before it's too late, or to turn and run if he cannot. But Koji is unable to make either choice. He can only call out in vain to the amorphous shape in the darkness. Is it you, Tsukuba? Is it really you? Let me die. No more. Please kill me. Something soft and slimy slides over Koji's toes. Instinct overrides his will, forcing him to turn on his light and shine it at his feet. The white beam reveals everything. The merciless truth that finally shatters Koji's sanity. Terror wipes his mind of all but two words: gun and trigger. His finger responds with instant obedience. There's an explosion of light and sound, both more intense than anticipated, and then the destructive forces are swallowed up by the darkness. His ears are still ringing in the bang, but he hears a weak voice coming from the shadows.
It hurts.
Koji screams and pulls the trigger again and again, certain that salvation can come only from the barrel of his gun. Night and darkness, explosion and silence. The dance before him 3 more times. Koji doesn't even need to aim. The horrible creature is right at its feet. Far too close to miss. Ryoka warned him how many bullets were left in the gun, but that information was already been driven from his mind. Even after the cold, heavy gloom wraps itself around him once more, Koji keeps pulling the trigger like a man possessed, paying no heed to the clicking of the empty gun. His panic-stricken legs suddenly give out, sending him down hard on his backside.
He landed on his ass.
Even then, he keeps firing the empty gun. He knows no other way to erase the memory of the thing that he glimpsed in the beam of his flashlight. The light, which fell from his hand during the attack, is now pointing in the different direction. And though all 4 bullets must have hit their target, they were Koji's last card to play. Which leaves him alone in the darkness with no way to defend himself. And just as he realizes this, a mass of rotting flesh rolls over him like a tidal wave. It hurts, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts. He can no longer even scream as the thing pushes him into his back. With fear seizing his throat in an iron grip, Koji struggles desperately against the monster as it crawls up his body towards his face. Covering his face with his left hand, he scrabbles wildly along the floor with his right, searching for a way out that doesn't exist. His mind is that of a feral animal, empty of everything but primal terror. And that is why, when his right hand closes around something hard at the last moment, he recognizes it instinctively as a weapon. Putting every ounce of strength into his arm, Koji swings the heavy object of the creature at the creature on top of him. He hears the thud of a blunt object striking something wet and soft, and then Koji's attacker rolls off him. As soon as he is able to move again, Koji leaps to his feet and grabs his new weapon with both hands, brandishing it like a charm to ward off evil. Only now does he realize that he's holding a rusty steel pipe. The monster is still sobbing. Oh shit. Oofa. With a cry that is part scream, part roar, Koji raises the steel pipe and brings it crashing down at the cowering creature. He hears a wet sound and feels the blood-chilling sensation of its thick, soft flesh absorbing the blow. These combine to evoke an instinctive loathing that wipes his mind of all but the urge to destroy. Die! Die! Consumed by the same desperation for which he kept firing the empty gun, Koji rains blow after blow down on his enemy. After the 10th blow, it stops sobbing. After the 20th blow, Jesus Christ, man, it stops moving. And after the 30th blow, it begins to feel and sound more and more like he's beating a puddle of viscous liquid. Koji doesn't stop thrashing the creature until he recovers enough of his senses to realize that whatever it might have been before, it is now nothing but a corpse. The pipe in his hand, covered with unidentifiable fluids and filth, suddenly feels unbearably heavy. You still haven't seen the most damning part of all of this. Ryoko's voice plays back in his head. And at last he knows how merciful her warning was. Now that his eyes are as open as hers, he is able to laugh in contempt of his own foolishness. 20 years of memories in the light of the sun. If they were indeed precious to him, then he should never have come to this place. The black flames of despair rise within him, consuming fear and revulsion and pity. Only rage and hate remain. Every cell in his body cries out for vengeance, for the blood of the man who poisoned him with truth and tore him from the womb of innocence. And then Koji, slave to hate, hears the sound of someone sneaking up behind him. Koji whirls, swinging his pipe with all the force he can muster. His enemy hastily leaps back to avoid the strike, surprised by his failure to catch Koji off guard. Twisted shadows dance in the beam of the light of the floor. Readying his pipe for the next blow, Koji faces off against his second attacker. Before this moment, Koji could never have imagined that he would ever speak his friend's name with such hatred. Hey, that was a pretty heavy swing just now. You trying to kill me or something? Even now, Fuminori is smiling, as though the huge axe in his hands is just a sick joke. Damn, Koji. I thought you'd hesitate. You thought I'd hesitate against you? Koji sneers too, unable to contain his contempt for the notion. How did you kill me, you piece of shit? What did you do to Tsukuba? After all this, you expect me to think twice about killing you? That's my line, Koji. Fuminori growls, looking sadly at the pile of dead flesh at Koji's feet. How could you do such a horrible thing to Yo? I'll make sure you suffer before I kill you. Oh shit! The blade of Fuminori's axe carves a murderer's arc through the darkness, glittering menacingly and the faint light coming from the floor. What the fuck is this music? Yeah! Holy shit, what the fuck? It pumps you up. Koji raises his pipe to block the ferocious swing. The heavy impact numbs his arms, but his large frame takes the blow without giving any ground. Fuminori presses the attack, delivering a second blow and a third. His axe, designed for chopping down trees, is deadlier and more durable than a piece of pipe Koji found discarded on the floor. Each strike Koji blocks sends chunks of rust flying from his makeshift weapon. He can't win as long as he's on the defensive. He needs to create an opportunity to attack. Bastard! Koji blocks a crushing downward swing, then pushes back hard before Fuminori can pull away, throwing him off balance. Fuminori stumbles backward and plants his feet to steady himself. Taking advantage of his opponent's temporary immobility, Koji delivers a punishing low kick to Fuminori's outer thigh. Fuminori grunts and retreats, swinging his axe wildly to prevent Koji from following up with another attack. Koji, however, does not press his advantage. He just stands where he is, calmly sparing Fuminori with his stare. You've never been in a fight, have you? Fuminori roars and comes in for another attack, but the damage to his right leg seems to be slowing his swing. Easily blocking the axe with his pipe, Koji waits for Fuminori to exhaust himself. Die, die! Fuminori delivers blow after heavy blow, hauling savagely all the while. What he does not realize, however, is that the situation now favors composure, not brute force. When Fuminori raises his axe high for yet another attack, Koji sees that his movements have grown dull enough. Seizing the opportunity, Koji charges into Fuminori's range and grabs the haft of the axe with his left hand. Shaft, but okay. As Fuminori recoils in fear, Koji swings his pipe hard at his enemy's unprotected side. He feels the crunch of ribs breaking. Oof. The pain drives Fuminori to his knees. Staring down at Fuminori's defenseless head, Koji, surprised by his own lack of emotion, raises his pipe high to deliver the finishing blow. Which is when something wraps itself around his left ankle. What? The instant Koji panics at the unexpected sensation, something soft yet strong winds itself around his right leg and drags him to the floor before he can resist. He twists his body and tries to swing the pipe at the unseen enemy behind him, but his right hand too is seized by the same flexible force. He wasn't able to feel it through his pants, but now his blood turns to ice at the cold, slimy sensation of the thing wrapped around his uncovered wrist. That monster's still alive. That's it, Saya. Fuminori says encouragingly. Even while kneeling on the floor, his face twisted in pain, he manages a terrible, victorious grin. Saya. This monster is Saya. Koji struggles desperately to free his limbs from the creature's slimy grip, but more tentacles swarm over his body, stealing his freedom of movement. The horror has already driven Koji half mad. Just imagining the creature's appearance is enough to send him into a mindless panic. His scream is suddenly cut off as a slimy appendage seizes his throat. Having to imagine that while reading it. Oy. His most deadly tentacle isn't just cutting off his windpipe, it's trying to snap his neck, and it's getting tighter. Koji is certain that this is the end, but just as his vision begins to dim, an explosion brings him back to his senses. Oh? The horrifying, inhuman scream, the creature releases Koji and retracts its tentacles. First thing he sees after regaining his mobility is Ryoko running down the hall with a smoking shotgun in one hand and a silver tube in the other. Doctor! Ryoko responds by tossing him the tube. Though still lying on the floor, he manages to snatch it out of thin air. Okay. It's the thermos that she showed him at the restaurant. The one she called her secret weapon. Pour it on that thing! Ryoko shouts at Koji. At the same time, she aims her gun at Fuminori, who's still on his knees 5 paces away. The double-barreled shotgun still has one shot loaded. Oh, he fucked. The monster that attacked Koji is writhing in agony. It hasn't yet recovered from Ryoko's shot. But he's already seen that the bullets aren't enough to kill these creatures. Now is his only chance. What are you doing? Fuminori growls, gritting his teeth against the pain of his broken ribs. Forcing himself to be calm, Koji stands and carefully unscrews the lid of the thermos. There is no question in his mind that something extremely potent is inside. As soon as it is unsealed, a thick white mist pours out of the thermos. Okay. And the surrounding air turns freezing cold. Oh, is that, it's starts with an N. I forgot the word. Anyways, I'm pretty sure they'll tell us. Instantly guessing what's inside, Koji lobs the thermos at the pile of flesh convulsing on the floor. The thermos sails through the air, spewing white fog, and like a baptismal font showers its liquid contents upon the hellish creature. Its screams this time is incomparable to before. The monster thrashes in agony. Wreathed in white smoke, its screams are joined by Ryoko's cackling. Oh, Jesus. Look at her eyes, they're not even... Okay. They're not even proportionately correct. Okay, anyways. That's minus 197 degrees, you fucking monster. How's it feel? Cold? Hot? Not so tough now, are you? Perhaps the joy of vanquishing her nightmare was worth the last remnants of her sanity. Maybe. The manic glee blazing in her eyes. Those twisted eyes can belong only to a shattered mind. Monsters, I'll kill you! Fuminori staggers to his feet, roaring black curses. His rage seems to have drowned out the pain of his broken bones. Ryoko is not one to underestimate the threat posed by his axe. Her mad laughter fades away, leaving only a cold smile as she pulls the trigger. Oh, fuck. Oh, well. About that. With a short burst of black flame, Ryoko's gun sputters and dies. Oh, okay. Ryoko is not an expert in firearms. It never occurred to her that the shotgun shells needed proper storage. And besides, she always suspected that any situation where her gun would be necessary would also be one that she would not survive. Cursing in anger and dismay, Ryoko breaks the shotgun open and awkwardly pulls the dud out. Meanwhile, Fuminori stalks towards her like a vengeful demon. Like a vengeful demon. The head of his axe screeching as it drags along the floor. What the fuck? Okay, Pyramid Head. What the fuck? Wrong game. I have to stop him. Koji tries to charge Fuminori, but only succeeds at sending himself sprawling. One of his shoes is stuck to the floor, frozen by the liquid nitrogen. That's the word. Yep, okay. As Ryoko fumbles in her pocket for a new shell, Fuminori closes the distance and raises his axe in both hands. Damn! Koji curses and rips his shoe free of the frozen concrete, but he knows that he will never make it in time. Ryoko thrusts a new shell into the chamber of her shotgun and snaps it closed, then looks up to find her target. Fuminori is right before her, too close to evade, and his axe is already crashing down, with the wind howling in its wake. Stop it! The sounds of bone shattering, tendon snapping, and flesh tearing blend together in foul harmony. The thick blade enters through Ryoko's left shoulder, plowing through her collarbone, and oh my god, and shoulder blade, smashing several ribs, and popping her along like a balloon before stopping in the center of her chest. Well, she did. Her expression frozen and shocked by the impact, she sprays a geyser of blood from her mouth. She should not have... Wait, what? No. She should have died instantly, but through some unimaginable... I can't even say this word. Unimaginable force of will, Ryoko clings to life for a few seconds more. Gritting through blood-stained lips, she raises her shotgun. Okay. I'm sorry, what? Okay. Okay. Badass. Cool. Not to the front, but to the side. Beyond the barrel of her gun, wearing the 77 degree Kelvin mist like a white cloak of death, is a weakly wriggling Saya. Oh shit. Fuminori's scream vanishes into the roar of the shotgun. Dude, that is so fucking cool. Hold up. That is so fucking cool. Okay. Alright. The destruction is absolute. And the impact of the shotgun pellets obliterates the half of Saya's body that fell prey to the liquid nitrogen. The frozen particles of Saya's shattered flesh drift to the floor like snow. Even the creature's special biology is insufficient to seal a wound of this size. From the opening pour its internal organs a tide of liquid slime and fat, whose color is far too foul to belong to any living creature. The monster convulses, wailing in its weak, pitiful voice.
Saya.
Oh, Jesus. That's blinding. That is fucking blinding. Holy shit. It's even blinding when I'm in a lit fucking room. Holy shit, my eyes. Flashbang! With his axe still buried in Ryoko's body, Fuminori stares at the dying creature, his expression utterly devoid of emotion. Koji grabs his pipe and prepares to attack Fuminori from behind, but freezes when he sees the emptiness on the face of the man he hated. Fuminori pulls his axe out of Ryoko's corpse, then looks at Koji with glazed eyes. There is no recognition in them, nor hate, nor rage. When Koji meets Fuminori's blank stare, he knows there is nothing left in him to kill. Fuminori grips the axe closer to its head and raises it high, the blade toward his face. Koji doesn't know whether he should interfere, but even if he wanted to, what could he say to stop Fuminori? Fuminori pulls his head back slowly, and drives his face into the blade of the axe like a spring-loaded toy. His skull caves in with a dull, wet sound, and the spray of blood catches Koji in the face. Despite Fuminori's utter lack of hesitation, his first attempt at suicide succeeds only in transforming his face into a hash of crimson. Fuminori pulls his head back one more time, even slower than before. Then, with every ounce of strength left in his body, he slams into it. He slams into the blood-stained axe. The sound is wetter than before. Fuminori's body goes limp, then tumbles face first to the floor. Koji stares at the two mangled corpses for a while. He feels completely left behind, like he can't remember why he's standing in this place, with a steel pipe in his hand. The stale air filling the ruined building becomes choked with the stench of blood, and the crimson puddles gradually spread across the snow-covered floor. Yet, the tranquility of the scene makes it seem like a painting. A soft, slimy sound breaks the silence. Koji looks at the mortally wounded monster. The creature is on death's door, but even so it moves. Slowly, feebly, it drags its broken body through the sea of blood. It's coming for Fuminori. Koji had forgotten his anger, but now it comes surging back at full force. Die. He growls, and stabs the monster with the end of his pipe. It convulses in agony, but keeps crawling towards Fuminori. Koji explodes into a frenzy of rage. Die, you monster! Oh shit. Okay. Just skip all that. Cool. Again and again, he smashes the helpless flesh beast with his pipe. Something tells him that if he does not stop here, he will truly have lost. The monster, however, never succumbs. It struggles on beneath his blows until finally it reaches Fuminori's corpse. Damn. Don't touch him, damn you, what gives you the right? Koji keeps swinging, his fury unabated, even as tears start to pool in his eyes. The monster slime flies through the air, joining with the blood already covering his face. The creature extends one thin, trembling tentacle to touch Fuminori's shoulder, then lovingly caresses his blood-stained cheek. And then it stops moving. Even in its final moments, the monster would not let Fuminori go. It died joined with him. At last, Koji knows that the world he loved is gone forever. Oh, Jesus. What? What is this? Hey, Omi says enthusiastically, the exposed bones of her face clattering. Why don't we go somewhere we can skate for this year's ski trip? Chunks of her body are missing, as though something's been nibbling on her. It makes her look a lot thinner. She's been worried about her weight recently, but now she shouldn't need to diet. Huh? Fuminori laughs at Omi's crazy suggestion. That's right. You just started skating recently, didn't you? He sounds amused, but it's hard to tell from his expression since his face has been cleaved in two by an axe. Not many people start skating in their 20s, you know. I was scared when I was little. Those shoes looked like big knives. Yeah, I know. If someone kicked you in the face with one of those on, you'd probably end up like me. Funny. Omi and Yo laugh at Fuminori's dumb joke. Yo never used to laugh with such exuberance. She seems truly happy now that she and Fuminori are officially together. But you were able to kill him on your first try. That's amazing, Omi. It's not like playing baseball. You swing hard and let the weight of the axe do the damage. You made killing him sound so easy. I figured I'd give it a try, and it was fun. What is this feeling? Something is wrong. Though Koji can't put his finger on what. Yeah, what the hell's going on here? Oh well. I want to try eating Omi too. What the fuck? Ah, that's it. When he sees Yo's envious smile, Koji finally realizes what's bothering him. Hey, Tsukuba? What's wrong? Why are you normal? Yo tilts her head quizzically, like she doesn't understand what he means. Normal? I'm always normal. But back then you were... Oh, I get it. Yo nods in understanding. You're talking about when I looked different from you. That was such a long time ago. It was? Of course, she replies, deflecting Koji's confusion with the uncannily cheerful smile. After all, you are one of us now. Oh, of course. Koji looks down and is satisfied to see wriggling tentacles where his arms and legs should be. What? When he opens his eyes, his mattress and pillow are soaked in sweat. It's always the same nightmare. He doesn't know how many times he's had it. But at least he's not leaping out of bed screaming anymore. Okay, so it was just a nightmare. Okay. That was confusing at first. He sits up, clutching his throbbing head. It's 4 in the morning. He hasn't had nearly enough rest, but he probably won't be able to get back to sleep tonight. Time for a smoke. A full pack will last him until dawn. To dawn. Damn, alright. Now, where did he put the pack he bought yesterday? Koji wanders sleepily into the den, where yet another old friend is waiting for him. You look like hell. Doctor, you are here too. Ryoko's chopped up corpse is sitting at his... Okay, what? Excuse me? Ryoko's chopped up corpse is sitting at his dining table looking as deathly pale as ever as she sips coffee from a mug. What? You can't be getting much sleep, tossing and turning like that every night. It's not always like this, Koji says immiscibly as he sits down across from her. If I take some pills, it usually helps, for now. Hallucinations like these are easier to deal with than elaborate nightmares like the one he just had. They should probably worry him more, though. Yeah, I feel like he should be definitely worried about this. This is not normal. Of course, this whole thing is not normal, so okay. If you'd listened to my warnings back then, you wouldn't be in such bad shape now. Let's stop talking about that. What's done is done. Ryoko chuckles, smiling the same cruel, manic smile that she used when she was alive. Her left arm hangs from her half-severed shoulder, dangling like a forgotten wind chime. Sounds like you've come to terms with it. You were the same, weren't you? You managed to pass yourself off as an elite neurosurgeon most of the time. It's not that hard to keeping up appearances when you have to. The corpse shrugs her intact right shoulder and grimaces in disgust as she takes another sip of her coffee. Okay? But it's only going to get worse, you know. Time heals emotional wounds, but with you, it's more like you have been poisoned. He's probably right. Everyone dreams at night. No matter how dim the memories may get, the nightmares will always be there to tear into Koji with fresh fangs. The insanity that has taken root in his heart will grow, eventually consuming everything that's left inside of him. In my case, I've had you to learn from. I'm ready for anything. Is that so? Koji nods, smiling confidently, then stands and walks to the bathroom where he retrieves the weapon that he keeps hidden from the mirror. Ogwai's revolver, the one souvenir that Koji brought back from the other world that night. It was tough, but I finally found someone who deals in these things. I bought bullets for it. Can you believe that ammunition is more expensive than the gun itself? How about that? In the mirror, Koji sees Ryoko with her axe-inflicted gash reversed. She raises her mug in a toast to Koji's resourcefulness. Oh, how many shots did you buy? Just one. This time, it's Koji who shrugs his shoulders. He uses both, exercising his privilege as the survivor. Rule. You see, I never want to be in a situation where I'll need more. Is he about to do what I think he's about to do? I hope not. But it is a tragic tale, is it not? Oh? The corpse in the mirror nods sagely. Her smile approving. You really do get it. There is a brief silence. Koji doesn't really feel like getting all melancholy like that with a dead woman. Hey doctor, let's give the diner coffee a rest. If you want, I'll put on a new pot of... When Koji turns around halfway through his sentence, he realizes that the room is empty, but for the silence of the night. She's gone. And so Koji returns to the world of the sane. He lights his first cigarette of the night and takes a deep drag. While sitting alone in his den and puffing on his smoke, he stares at the gun in his hand. He knows just how precarious a cliff he's standing on. The final line of which Ryoko spoke is now one step behind him. Koji no longer has anything to protect his soul. Now that Ogwai Masahiko's fantasies and Tombo Ryoko's delusions have all become tangible horrors. Horrors. Right. He knows what insanity and despair truly are. Back in the real world, Sakisaka Fuminori is wanted for several gruesome murders. Oh my goodness. You don't say. It didn't take long for someone to discover the stockpiles of human meat in the empty Sakisaka and Suzumi homes. In the 2 refrigerators were found in the remains of Suzumi Yusuke, his wife and daughter, and Takahata Omi. They found the clothes and the other effects of Tsukuba Yo, but were unable to locate any trace of her among the various body parts. A fact that made Koji's nightmares all the more vivid. Dr. Tombo Ryoko of the T University Hospital vanished mysteriously around the same time. Because she was Fuminori's chief physician, the police have been investigating her connection to his crimes. As for the 2 corpses secretly buried in the backyard of a certain ruin, well, they will probably never be found. And this incident will become just another cold case. Koji alone knows what really happened, and he has no intention of revealing it. Not now and not ever. Ogwai's writings were not nonsense, which means that everything else was. What fool was it who said that men are the lords of creation, those who can believe in paltry things like human wisdom and valor, are those lucky innocents who have not looked into the abyss? Koji can no longer share in their blessed ignorance. He knows. He has been defiled by the insanity called the truth. He will never believe again. If he has been poisoned, as Ryoko's ghost said, then that poison is none other than the truth itself. Just as pure oxygen is harmful to the body, the naked truth has the power to destroy men's mind. Only by diluting it with lies and taking it in small doses can humans maintain a healthy soul. Okay, nonsense, right? Come on, wrap it up. No matter what horrors the world might hold, words once spoken by the living Tombo Ryoko passed through Koji's mind. I still had some power against the madness. That, without a doubt, was the comfort that she kept hidden in her bosom. The only thing that allowed her to face her dreams each night. In her bosom! Koji has taken his predecessor's lessons to heart. He's prepared for anything. One bullet is always behind the bathroom mirror, promising him salvation. Okay, the music is telling me it's an ending! Yay! Okay. Oh, that was a long ending. But that was supposedly not the true ending. So we are gonna be going into that next video, which also means that the next video will be the true finale of the Song of Saya, or Saya no Uta. Uta no Saya? One of those two. I don't know what's going to happen for the next ending, for the true ending. I don't know when that will be released. Probably within the week, maybe a week after this goes up. But yeah, look forward to it. And I'll see you all next time. See ya. Bye-bye.